We're going to call this meeting of First English Baptist Church to order. And I'm not Dave Ford. Dave is the lay moderator. This would normally be his job. But Dave is at home recovering from several things. He's doing well, but because of COVID, he's staying home, which is fine. But I consulted our Constitution. It actually says, and I've quoted it here, the pastor shall be a non-voting member of all committees, and in the absence of the lay moderator shall chair meetings. So you're stuck with me doing this today. Michelle Kashner is our new church clerk, and she's here ready to take notes. And I think there's 50 of us here, would you say? You counted earlier? Okay. 58? Okay. And hopefully you haven't left. Okay, so shall we call this meeting to order with a prayer? Gracious Heavenly Father, we thank you for this church, for the many, many people before us, some we have known, others we haven't, who faithfully served you and served this community through this congregation. And we carry a legacy forward from those before us. We thank you for their sacrifice, for their giving of time and energy, and their dedication to you and to this community that allows us to be here today in this sanctuary to worship and to serve. Please guide our proceedings today. We pray for your Spirit to be among us as always, and that we would honor you in all that we do and say. We thank you, Lord. In Jesus' name, amen. Okay. The first order of business is a presentation of the annual meeting minutes from last year, which you will find on pages 24 and 25 of the annual report. So this is what I'm referring to. This is what you'll need to look at. It has a green back, and it's a collection of papers. Does everybody have access at least to see one of these? Because you'll probably be lost without it. Okay. So if you look, the very first is a table of contents. We're basically going to follow the table of contents. That's what the agenda does. But the first item is way down the list. It's at pages 24 and 25, the minutes from the previous meeting. So if you want to take a moment to look at that. And we'll entertain a motion to accept these minutes as written and approve them. Boy, a year was a long time ago, wasn't it? Anybody else still missing? Shirley in the back. And Christina. Can I entertain a motion to accept the minutes as written? Dave out, so moved. Second is Phil. Any further discussion? Does it look good? Look accurate? All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Okay, so we've accepted those meeting minutes from the last meeting. And now we're going to move to down the page. Review of annual reports of the last year. That's what this collection is. So, and I encourage you, I hope you may or may not have had time to read the whole thing since it's come out, but please do so because it really does give a good synopsis of what the church has been doing. I'm actually going to read my report to you. I know you can read, but I want to put it out there. Not the whole thing. I mean, I'm going to read the first 3 pages and also the Declaration of Respect and Mission, which the deacons approved and which I'd like everyone to hear. So I'm on page 4 of this annual report. Another year and we are blessed. Our Lord has delivered us safely and faithfully through another year of life and ministry together. I and others sense a swelling of kindness and generosity in our gatherings and conversations. I've found this church atmosphere has encouraged me into very positive and profound interactions with my own neighbors in Bloomsburg. In fact, in 2023, several close neighbors of ours, Annie's and mine, have had sudden and severe personal or family crises, and I have been able to be of some service to them. Falls in the street, I've literally picked up people off the street. Lost pets, disabling illnesses, even untimely deaths. Other community service. I help with the community meals at Wesley, which Emily Ruckel organizes for our church as she was up here. Thank you, Emily. I'm now helping on an as-called basis at the food cupboard. I continue to give weekly devotionals by phone for the staff and residents of the gardens at Orangeville. Steve Lindenmuth, Annie, and I also led a hymn sing one afternoon at the gardens, which the residents in attendance thoroughly enjoyed. I served as a poll worker for the November elections, which offered great interaction with many people in our community. I greatly enjoyed this and will continue this involvement in 2024. I swim regularly at Bloomsburg University Pool and occasionally the Danville Area Community Center, where I have a significant interaction with people outside our church. The center of my duties continues to be our weekly worship service, preaching, teaching, pastoral care, and counseling in support of our lay leadership. I work closely with our deacon board, which actively engaged every month of the year in communion, calls and visits, special gatherings, Saturday prayer breakfast, outreach, and prayer. This year marked a return to having a Renaissance Festival booth for FEBC and our first FEBC stand at the annual Pride Celebration event in Bloomsburg Town Park. Christina and Travis also made sure FEBC was present at the community trunk retreat. It was in Berwick, wasn't it? I got that wrong. Okay. Annie, you were right. Once again, Annie's always right. I need to remember that. I worked with the deacons to help develop our diaconate declaration of respect and mission. That's what's coming up. Which we hope will be included in a future revision or update of our Constitution. I've also been personally studying Robert's Rules of Order and contemplate leading a class on the subject for the benefit of all of us. Since our Constitution explicitly states Robert's Rules of Order is our standard, we all need to be familiar with basic meeting procedures. Pastoral care through calls, texts, hospital and home visits, prayer and conversation continues to be a daily concern for me, one that is often difficult but also gratifying. This year, our congregation has been blessed with remarkable recoveries from serious disease. Both Frank Bielecki and Donnie Sheep offered amazing public testimonies of healing in this past year. And there are others who have privately told me of their gratitude to the congregation in their healing from God through prayer. I find great support from our lay leaders and especially from my Wednesday Bible study group. Anybody's welcome to that, by the way. In-depth teaching and discussion of the scripture or the sermon coming up, and Sunday morning sermon discussion groups. These have been meaningful teaching and learning arenas for me. Last spring, I led a several weeks-long study of the book How We Got the Bible, complemented by a Saturday prayer breakfast presentation I gave on the origins of our Bible. This year, I also gave extra time to continuing education. In my own self-directed study, I focused on the writings of Rene Girard, on the concept of mimesis as an interpretive tool for understanding both Old and New Testaments. That's where the word meme comes from, by the way. If you hear about memes on internet, memes and mimesis, it's all related. I've been studying ancient Near East, the political and geographical context of the Bible, the history of Judaism, and the conflict in Gaza. This focus has helped inform both sermons and group Bible studies for the congregation. In March, the deacons and I met with 7 potential candidates for official church membership. Using a new format, we met downstairs in our social hall for 4 Sundays after worship. A time devoted to fellowship, getting to know one another better, and reviewing Baptist ideas about faith, discipleship, and church membership and responsibility. And there were delicious snacks. Everybody involved thoroughly enjoyed this experience. It was really quite wonderful. And thankfully, we didn't scare anybody away. In fact, all 7 said yes to joining us. Thank you, thank you, thank you. We're so glad you're here. And here they are. We had a glorious Sunday morning baptismal service with Joe Murphy, Christy Robinson, Jim Klein, Donna Lapchuk, and Joe Lapchuk. They were given the right hand of fellowship that same morning, along with Janet and Gary Puderbaugh, who joined by Christian Experience and Letter of Transfer. All our new members have continued to be active and faithful in worship and service. Their presence has been a significant boost to me and to many others. And I mean that very seriously. Thank you so much. You all have been an inspiration to us. Thank you. We had I already read that. Our one major project, which the deacons and I worked on together, is the Declaration of Respect and Mission, which the deacons unanimously adopted as written to be part of our official deacon handbook, also updated this year. Please read this declaration carefully as it outlines important principles of conduct which we hope can be officially included in our church constitution. A second attachment to my report here, I won't read it, details the call for special congregational meeting. Basically, it's about our upgrade of the AV system that we are proceeding with now into 2024. Post-COVID isolationism, we have enjoyed fellowship gatherings once again in 2023. Our Easter sunrise service, followed by an encouraging gathering of worshipers for a light breakfast together. Our annual autumn church picnic, a fall bonfire. Right, Shirley? With s'mores and family stories. That was really a lot of fun. Donnie Sheep's moving post-surgery video. Thank you, Donnie, wherever you are. There you are. Yes. And thank you, luncheon, and our Christmas lunch and party. Sadly, at year end, we had to say farewell to Claire Hawk, who faithfully served, attended, and supported our church family for many years. He is already deeply missed. Late in the year, Corey Kreiser succumbed to a heart condition, yet in the same week, Scott, Marcy and Corey's son, experienced a miraculous recovery from brain surgery. In 2023, I officiated a memorial service for Jeremiah Eli English, who died in 2011. His family waited a while to do this. And an informal celebration of life for the family and friends of my neighbor, Kathy Musser. Early January 2024 has brought 3 more funeral memorial celebration services for Frank Gregory, brother-in-law of Jackie Willis, Carl Reich, husband of Lenore, and Nirmal Kapil, who's friend of Linga Panikars. A new relationship with our local Jewish congregation, Beth Israel, has been a particular highlight of 2023. For their annual observance of Yom HaShoah, the Holocaust, President of the synagogue, Ken Druckenmiller, invited all area clergy and churches to attend their remembrance service on April 17, 2023. Several of our members joined me in attending that service. It was very moving. Sometime later, Ken and I sat down for lunch together and decided to plan more fellowship events between our two congregations. This resulted in an encouraging and well-attended potluck supper together in our social hall on October 15. Many of you were there. It was really quite a nice event, where we shared delicious dishes from many kitchens as well as prayers and great conversation. We're looking forward to a more positive community building with Synagogue Beth Israel in 2024. Thank you all for your faithfulness to the Lord and to this congregation in 2023. We look forward to God's faithful care and grace in 2024. And the one thing I forgot to mention, it's probably mentioned somewhere else, is the new piano. Yay. Thank you. That was good. We enjoyed getting that. Okay. I want to read this just so we get it out there. This is the Declaration of Respect and Mission, part of my report. Unanimously endorsed by the Deacon Board, this is page 7, on its November 7, 2023 meeting, and now included in our updated Deacon Handbook, outlining deacon conduct and responsibilities. This is it. In current times of increasing confrontation and conflict between people of conviction, it seems good to declare how we, that is, deacons or member of First English Baptist Church, agree to conduct ourselves inside and outside our gatherings in order to maximize love, respect, and success in our goal to live as the body of Christ. We recall the Apostle Paul's reminder to the Church of Galatia of the fruits of the Spirit of Christ in their midst. The fruit of the Spirit is love, joy, peace, patience, kindness, goodness, faithfulness, gentleness, and self-control. Against such things there is no law. Galatians 5:22 and 23. This declaration addresses three arenas of interaction. 1, conduct in meetings. 2, occasions of disagreement. 3, conduct outside of meetings. How we conduct our meetings. We recognize every member has a right to an opinion and a voice on every matter that our organization takes up. We will always have a designated chairperson who is responsible for the contents of the meeting agenda and who will conduct the meeting according to Robert's Rules of Order, current revision. We respect the leadership of the chairperson who is responsible for the management of the meeting. All questions and contributions are made through the chair, who will ensure that all are heard as fairly and equally as possible. The chair will ensure that we take turns to speak, that each who speaks will not be interrupted, but allowed to finish their contribution before questions are posed. Occasions of disagreement. Disagreements are a normal part of human interaction. We will treat them as opportunities to learn from each other various points of view and to arrive at a position that can be fully supported even by those who disagree. We pledge to listen fully, politely, and open-mindedly out of respect and care for each other and our group. This includes refraining from muttering, engaging in side conversations, or displaying disrespectful nonverbal communication. We absolutely reject ad hominem attacks, that means personal attacks, including name-calling, bullying, shouting, and other disruptive, disrespectful behavior. The chair is empowered to dismiss from our meeting anyone refusing to comply. Using I statements, we speak only for ourselves, being careful of the power of our words to heal or hurt. We will actively guard against misinformation, Oh, we're enjoying this immensely. That must be a really important call. That really gets your attention, doesn't it? Whoa, okay. Where was I? Number 5, we will actively guard against misinformation, gossip, rumor, or anonymous feedback in our discussions. Matters of disagreement may be set aside for a time, so that more relevant information can be gathered and considered prior to making a decision. Conduct outside of meetings. We honor all confidential matters as decided by the group. We will be mindful that each of us represents more than ourselves to the public. We will conduct all business of the church through the appropriate channels and will not gossip or speak or post/text inappropriately of those in our fellowship. And that's it, which seems like very logical, basic guidelines to me. And hopefully we decided the deacons gave a lot of time and attention to this and making it part of our deacon manual. And the next time we perhaps revise the Constitution, we'd like to propose to put this in there as sort of guidelines for all of us in all of our meetings. So I included that in my report. Are there any questions, comments? I love being your pastor.
Thank you.
I really do. It's hard sometimes. It's hard sometimes, but I love it. Like everything, right? Yeah, okay. Oh, well, thank you, Joe. I appreciate your encouragement very, very much. You all encourage me at least as much as I encourage you, so thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, diaconate board is next. Karen, do you have anything you want to say or add to what's written in the report? It's on page 11.
No, basically. Oh, I'm sorry. No problem. I could use my mom's voice. Basically, it just reviews in the first part what our jobs are, prayer, breakfast, communion. But we've had a really full year. We've done a lot of things. And every meeting, I tried to list the positives for the last month. I think it's always good to start with good news and positive things that we've done. And I'm blessed with a board that I have some of the best people in the world to work with. It's been a blessing. If you read down under the positives, we've done a lot of things this year, helping with Dwell, working on the behavior, the conduct of how we would like things to be done. And I try to do that every meeting and encourage people to call me on it if I don't. I think it's really important when you bring something to us that it's heard, it's researched, and then third, that we get back to you, that it isn't just blown off. I've tried to do that all year. We've discussed things, and I've tried to get back every single time to anybody who's brought anything to us. I feel that's very important for communication in the congregation.
You've done an excellent job at that,
oh.
Karen, by the way.
No.
She has.
We've provided meals to people who needed them. Shirley does that outreach and does a wonderful job with it. We had tons of toys, thanks to Phil and Hannah, that we were able to give out. And Doris did some wonderful welcoming bags for people who visit our church. They had cookbooks in them and pens and things, and we've gotten very positive feedback about that. So these are just a couple of the things we've done. I think the other thing we've done and worked really hard at this year was supporting our Sunday school, our children. We've been at everything, there's been representation of the diaconate board at everything that Christina has done this year, and we took first prize at Trunk or Treat in Bloom. So we're really having a good year, I think, and we've done a lot. Does anybody have any questions about anything? Yes, Shar.
This is not a question, just a comment. Thank you so much for all you guys have done this year. And for anyone who happened to miss the Beth Israel FEBC dinner, you missed a wonderful, wonderful time. And I hope we get to do that again.
We are actually planning something in February. We have some donated leftover ice cream, so we're going to do a game and ice cream night. So that'll be coming up as soon as we set a date.
Thank you.
Yep.
As long as we do it before Gordon finishes the ice cream.
I think all those that she mentioned deserve a hand.
Thank you. Okay, next, diaconate treasurer. This is the treasurer's report on page 12. That would be Marcy Kreischer. Marcy, do you have anything to add? It's probably pretty straightforward right there, isn't it?
Straightforward, and I thank everyone.
And we thank you for, this is a ongoing full year-time job. And you've done excellent, and you can see there where the money has come from and how it's been dispersed through the deacons. Are there any questions for Marcy? Thank you, Marcy.
Thank you.
Okay. Board of Trustees is page 13. Most of this year, RJ was the chair of the board. He's not here today. Carrie assembled a list of the items that the trustees have dealt with this year. And I don't know, Dave or Donnie, do you have anything to add or any comment to make on this?
If you've looked over the report, you'll notice that a lot of the items are things that happen annually.
It's good because some people really can't hear Dave.
I said, if you looked over the report, you'll notice that a lot of the items on there are things that we do annually. And we will be reforming the committee very soon. Mm-hmm. And if you have items of interest that we need to know about, you can bring those up to us at that particular time.
Thank you. Any questions?
Just one thing, the new trustees, if we could meet after the congregation, after the meeting's over for a real quick meet up here in the front.
Right in the back
Yeah.
there? Okay. So trustees, if you can get together with Donnie and Dave right afterward, just briefly. Okay, very good. Next up, Board of Christian Education. That's pages 14 and 15 in your report. Christina, do you want to say more?
Just thank you to everybody that helped us out this year. We are small but mighty. We don't have huge numbers of kids, but the kids that we have come every Sunday. They want to be here, and that's really what we're trying to instill in our kids. Thank you especially to Gwen, who's my partner in all of this on a weekly basis. We did have a lot of fun this year. We're planning lots of outings for next year as well. We took the kids to, one of the things that stands out is we took the kids to Knoebels, which they've been begging for a long time. We had a lot of fun, and as a result, I have 2 new kids that come every Sunday. So thank you to everybody for everything. If you have any questions, let me know.
Thank you, Christina. You've been the spark plug, you and Gwen, behind everything going on there. Thank you. Any questions for Christina? Oh, Joe. No, okay.
When you go to Knoebels, can anybody go?
I'll invite next year.
Okay,
You give me a chaperone.
there you go.
Yeah, but I can't ride on them.
No, we rode along with the kids, but yeah, we did have the teenage boys that kind of ditched us. So yeah, we'd love for you to come next year. We can be there.
Okay. Outreach team, page 16, and that is led by Anna Kashner. Excellent. Anna's right over here. Do you have more to say, Anna?
I have 2 things to say.
Okay.
One is there is a mission, so if you have a pen or pencil, write this in. I have apology to Ken and Karen and everybody in the church who helped with Esther's Closet. I don't know how I missed it, but I did.
Oh, that's all right.
It's one of our biggest outreach projects, and
Yes.
I'm very sorry that I did.
That's okay. We'll write it in.
We did a lot of different things, and one thing I do want to highlight, since we're talking about Christine and Gwen and the kids, I added them to our outreach this year because they have really put FEBC on the map,
Yes.
okay?
Excellent.
So thank you to everybody who works with our youth.
Any questions
comments?
for Anna?
And I always need new ideas.
I was just gonna
So if you have
say.
any new ideas for outreach, let me know.
And if anybody's interested in helping with this or some other project, can they talk to you about that?
Absolutely,
Good.
because everybody in the church is part of the outreach team.
That's right.
I've said that before, and I mean it.
And you may not
each one
be
of-
able to do everything, but you can plug
Right.
into one
Each
thing or
one of
another.
these projects that I've outlined, different people have been part of it.
Right,
It could be 1, it could be 2, it could be 10, could be many,
right.
okay?
Excellent.
So
Thank you.
everybody's in it, remember that.
Thank you, Anna, very much. Christina has a comment.
Just quick, hold on, I'm trying to pull up the dates. We did reserve for Renaissance for next year. I think it's always the last Saturday in April. Okay, so it'll be, so please keep the date in mind. We aren't cooking anything. We are literally just handing free stuff out to people. You don't have to handle money. All you do is smile and hand out some chips or some water. It's really easy, even if you just want to stop by and say hi. And I'm hoping we have our hype men again next year who literally were drawing everybody into our stand.
We have an avian visitor at our window. Mm-hmm. A bird.
Can we let it vote?
Well, he wants in, that's for sure. Okay. He just took off. Okay. Next.
Pastor
Thank-
Lee, I just had a comment that
Oh, I'm sorry, yes.
we're going to hold 2 Red Cross blood drives this year,
Right.
April 4th and September 27th.
April 4 and September 27th. And that's the blood drive, Red Cross blood drive. We're doing 2 this year. The Red Cross is desperately in need of donations. So in light of that, we plugged ourselves in to an April date to supplement. So if at all possible to help either with blood or with time. the 4th of April and September 27. And it's generally 1 to 6, right? 1 p.m. to 6 p.m. April 4, September 27.
Thank you.
Yes. Thank you. Thank you, Thelma. And thank you, Thelma, for setting those up all the time. It's a really big outreach and ministry. Next, we have Finance Committee. That's Thelma again, page 17. And that's a brief review on page 17. And then, of course, the tables of numbers are in the back, which we'll be looking at more closely in a few minutes, I think. Is there anything, Thelma, you want to add at this point?
Mary Clapp wrote this report.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry, Mary.
That's all right. Because our group is really very inclusive.
Yes.
We're very open.
I know you work closely, yes. Okay, sorry about
The
that.
report is really self-explanatory and very simplistic, but the group of people that serve on the Finance Committee is just wonderful to work with.
Thank you, Mary. Thank you for your leadership there, too. Mary's very, very structured and careful. That's good. That's what you want in a financial sector. What's that? Robert's Rules of Order. There you go. Okay. Any questions for Mary?
She speaks softly and carries a big stick.
That's Teddy Roosevelt.
What did she say?
She said something about speaking softly and carrying a big carrot. No, a big stick. No, she doesn't. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Okay, next. Turn over your agenda. Number 8, Endowment Manager. That's Mike. And Mike's right there. He's got his report on page 18. This is our investment portfolio. And do you have anything to add to what's here, Mike?
Not really. If
No
anybody-
deposits
if
to make.
anybody- I think it's fairly straightforward if
Yes, it
anybody
is.
has a question. A little closer? Okay, got it. I can hear me now. Anyway, I think it's straightforward. If anybody has a question, I'm here to answer it. Thank you.
So far we have paid approximately half of the Gelnet contract. So half was paid in 2023 and half in 2024, basically. Okay. All right, thank you, Mike. Any questions for Mike? Next, American Baptist Women's Ministry, page 20. And Thelma, is this Michelle, Thelma? Are the Bible study leaders put this together?
I forgot to mention that we did offer a summer evening Bible study this summer.
right.
And I'll let Michelle talk about that.
Yeah, we did. We redid the Rock the Road and the Rabbi for those that hadn't been able to attend during the afternoon ones. And we had a very small group, but it was mighty, and I think was very enlightening. I think we just connected so well with the study and each other.
And sometimes, well, things happen in smaller groups that won't happen in larger ones. So even a small group, the smallness sometimes is a virtue of the experience. It's different because of that. So that's good. Excellent. Any questions for Michelle or Thelma? Number 10, Office Manager's Report. That's from Carrie. She's not present, but she's listed all the things that she does during the course of the year. And that's there for your reading. On to page 22, our statistics. These are the members that we've received by transfer and by baptism, also previously mentioned, and then the losses to our membership from death and transfer. Next page, a list of all the board and committee members for 2024. We do have a few positions, the deacon board, the trustee board. Actually, all the boards have some open positions, so there's opportunity there. Yes, Karen. Okay.
Second board.
Okay, go ahead.
As secretary
Okay,
for me. So one of our positions is filled.
okay, very good. Annie volunteered to be on the deacons to continue serving as secretary. Right?
To help if Shirley is agreeable.
Excuse me?
To help if, as secretary, if Shirley is agreeable. Okay, then that.
Oh, if Shirley's
It's cool, okay.
Shirley got kind of stuck with the job of secretary, so she's rather glad, I think, to let it go. Okay, all right. Moving on. Annual meeting minutes we already did. So we've pretty much covered our annual report except for the 2024 budget proposal, which Thelma will now bring to us. I'm going to let her use this. Yep. And there are some handouts for you. Maybe Shar can help too. Okay. Thank you. Thank you, thank you. Can I put this on or hold it? Can we use that one? Travis? It's already on. Whoa, sorry about that. Sorry about that. Okay. There you go.
Here's your pen if you need. Okay. What Mary and Shar are handing out, typically Kevin Morgan would be here to do it. You've got the B team with me. Kevin is away today. He hasn't told a lot of people, but he was voted as the top athletic director in District 4, which is what our sports teams are part of. And with that honor, he was invited to Hershey this weekend to meet with all the other top athletic directors, and so that's where he is. So I'm standing in for him, and what is being handed out is his PowerPoint presentation. Typically, he would use his computer, put it on the screen, but we've had lots of complaints that people couldn't read it anyhow, so we're handing it out, what he would have put up on the screen for us. So. Everybody have a copy, or at least a copy to share with someone? Okay. All right, here we go. I tried to number the bottom of the pages, but the copier cut some of them off, so we'll just have to go together with this. First page is just the presentation. So let's turn to page 2. And this compares our budget from 2023 to our proposed budget for 2024. As you can see, we spent less than we budgeted last year. We did not spend $9,643.32. So we were pretty accurate in proposing the budget for 2023. This budget that we are proposing this year is an increase of 3.7% from last year. And I will say up front that the Finance Committee, on the recommendation of the Ministers and Missionaries Benefit Board, is proposing a 4% across-the-board increase, cost of living increase for all of our employees, including Pastor Lee's housing allowance. And so we'll talk more about that when we get to the pastoral ministry section. But I just wanted to put up front, that's the major part of the increase of our budget this year, which will be in salaries. Okay. Now, the next thing that says Board of Christian Education, if you go back to your booklet with the green cover on the back, the very last page will show you our proposed budget. And the way we do our books here is it's broken down into 5 categories. And it's a page that looks like this. Okay? Board of Christian Ed, Diaconate Board Worship, Finance Committee Outreach, Pastoral Ministry, and then Church Home. So we're going to go through each category. And if you have any questions I get to the end of each category, I'll do my best to answer them for you. And Mary Clapp and anybody else on the Finance Committee, if I can't answer it, can just jump in, please. So first we're going to look at the Board of Christian Education. It's the one at the top. And that covers what you can see underneath it. Our nursery employee salary is part of that, and Sunday school. This year's proposed budget is a decrease from $3,622 to $3,612. We removed the celebration committee because we don't have one currently active, and we increased the nursery salary, nursery worker salary. Any questions on that portion, on that section, on Board of Christian Education? Okay. Moving over to page 4 of the handout that you just got was Diaconate Board and Worship. That's the second category coming down this page. It's an increase in the budget from $24,775 to $26,088. We added 2 line items. We added celebrations because we serve refreshments after baptism or graduation. We buy the chicken for the summer picnic, and so we needed to put some money in that line item to cover those expenses. And we added the word palms. We used to have the word flowers in there. Years ago, people would every Sunday purchase flowers to be put in the sanctuary here. We don't do that anymore, but we do have flowers at Easter time and at Christmas time. Most people order them and pay for them, so we don't need a line item in there to cover flowers anymore. But we do for palms, because we purchase palms for Palm Sunday every year. So that's why that was added. We've also increased the choir director's salaries and the organist salaries in that category. I wanted to point out in that category funeral dinner expenses. You can see that there's $14.11 in there. Several years ago when Ike McCloskey passed away, his wife Sally gave us $1,000 to use towards funeral dinners. Typically, a family will reimburse the church for our expenses, but if they don't, then we had money in a line item that we could pay for it. So there's currently $14.11 in there. Donations couldn't be made by families or church family members if any money wanted to get put into that category. But that's what that means. Any questions on that Diaconate Board worship section? Okay, moving down the page, we're going to go to Finance Committee Outreach. There's a decrease in the budget from $9,530 to $9,180. We decreased the Bloomsburg Ministerium donation that we give them. Pastor Lee had received a financial report from them, and of all the churches in the area, our church was giving the most for many, 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 many years. Correct? So we decreased it in half to that.
They have a large treasury right now.
Yeah.
So.
And we removed the mission committee line item because we don't have a current active mission committee. In that category, the one that says ABC, the $5,000, that is distributed monthly, and it goes to American Baptist Churches USA for ministries. The ABCOPAD Partners in Ministry gets distributed monthly to the ministries of the American Baptist Churches in Pennsylvania and Delaware. And the association dues of $130 goes to the Northumberland Association, which is a part of the community that we belong to. Pennsylvania and Delaware is broken up into maybe 22 different associations. Ours is the Northumberland, and we pay yearly dues to be part of it. Also in that category, I wanted to point out the PNC checking. We have to pay a fee every time we do someone gives an online giving. Now, the $600 that we have to pay in the service fee is just a small amount. We receive every month $2,371 for people that do online giving. Every time an online giving is pulled from your account, PNC charges us for it. If you have your money pulled on the 1st and the 15th, we're charged twice. If you only have it pulled once a month, we're only charged once. So that $600 covers those service fees. But it's well worth it for the money that we receive in the online giving. And I have forms with me if anybody would like to sign up for that. It's a great way to support the church on a monthly basis, even when you're not here. Even when you're on vacation, you're still supporting the church. So I have those here if you would like them. The special outreach projects money at the bottom of that category goes for our blanket ministries, both our Project Lioness and the blanket ministry through church. You can see we didn't spend all of our money this year because we had some very generous donations from church family members, and so we spent well over $500, which we typically would budget for it on that blanket ministry, but didn't use all of the church money. So, any questions on the Finance Committee or the outreach? Okay, let's move over to the next one, Pastoral Ministry. It's page 6 in your little handout. That's increased from $112,979 to $117,620. If you'll notice on your budget, your proposed budget sheet, there's several items that have asterisks next to them: books and periodicals, continuing education, and travel reimbursement. These were items that were agreed upon by Pastor Lee and the church family back in 2000, when Pastor Lee was hired. And so those numbers don't change from year to year, and so that's why we put an asterisk by it. It's always the same every year. Health insurance for Pastor Lee and Annie is included in that health insurance line item. M&M retirement, how we get the number to put into that is we take Pastor Lee's salary, his housing allowance, and his Social Security offset and times it by 16%, and that's what goes into his retirement number.
Can I add one thing to that?
Yes, yeah.
It's actually retirement, disability insurance, and a term life insurance policy, or group life insurance policy are combined in that 16%.
Okay.
Several things.
Okay. Any questions on the pastoral ministry component? Okay.
I have one.
Okay.
I'm looking at this, and I don't see where it says Pastor Lee's sabbatical.
It's not a budgeted item, and
It's not a budgeted item, but he never gets it. Is that something we need to talk about later, or?
is it something that we discuss here, or within the deacon? I think
We can talk about that in the deacon.
Okay.
in the diaconate board.
Yeah. No, that's not typically part of an annual budget.
Okay.
Yeah.
I didn't know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But if it's in your contract, how come it's not in the budget? I don't.
It's a special arrangement that happens between the church and the pastor every few years. It's a separate negotiation, so to speak. It's named in my contract.
Yes.
But it's also in the contract that it's a separate entity from the annual budget, so to speak. It's something that is worked out jointly between the leadership of the church and me ahead of time. So it hasn't been included, and I haven't expected it to be included in annual reports.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but wouldn't a sabbatical be similar to a vacation, whereas the income, the salary would not change? It's just that Pastor Lee would not be working while he was on sabbatical and continue to have a salary? Is it not like
Yes.
that?
Yes.
It is.
Pretty much?
No, it's not like that.
It's not like that?
No.
Okay, never, okay.
A sabbatical is a break from usual responsibilities in order to do typically a special study or retreat of some kind. And in fact, included in the contract is a provision that the church would negotiate with me how much of those expenses of my sabbatical are also covered in addition to the salary. So, and it's a once every 7 years event, which I have not taken, but it's not a vacation, and it's not handled like a vacation. So that's partly why it's set apart as a different sort of arrangement that's not handled every year in the annual report.
And if and when Pastor Lee takes a sabbatical, we would pay someone who would come and be
Pulpit supply. Right.
for the whole time he was gone. Yeah.
Right.
But it isn't typically in the budget
Correct.
until we're ready to do it.
Right.
Okay. Any other questions on the pastoral ministry? Okay, we'll take the last page then in the booklet, which is trustees church home. We're increasing that from $74,376 to $77,116. It's an increase of $2,740. We're proposing an increase in the secretary and custodial salaries. There's an increase in church utilities, which we all find at home. All of our utilities are going up also. There's an increase in maintenance, repair, and equipment purchases because as the church is older, more things are breaking all the time. There's an increase in advertising and internet with the new audio-video system that we're putting in. We had to upgrade our internet service, so there's an increase in that. There's a decrease in the copier lease. We have 2 more payments on the copier, and then it's ours, but we will continue to pay a monthly maintenance fee and for colored copies, so we could decrease that. There was a decrease in insurance, and we're removing the emergency repair and equipment purchases from the line items because when we have a major repair that needs to be done, the money is taken out of the meeting house fund and not the church budget. So, any questions on the church home? Okay, let's move over then to page 8 of the handout, and it just shows you the totals for the year, just a review of everything that we just went through page by page. Okay. Page 9 is income, a 6-year history of income. Kevin really likes numbers, and so he keeps a great record of all of our numbers, and so he included this income over the 6-year history. And the column on the left is all of the areas that we get income from: checking account interest, Giant gift card income. The Harley Trust income is the quarterly transfer of money from the meeting house fund to our church checking account. We get $3,150 quarterly out of the meeting house fund, And then at the end of the year, there's usually a makeup bulk payment. This year is extra because we did not get the 2022 end of the year money until January of 2023. And so we got it in January. And then we also got 2023's money at the end of the year in December. So there was extra money this year in that. The plate money, which is the money that's put in the plate that's not in an envelope, undesignated envelopes, the use of the social hall, fundraising, Wise gift card income, and then miscellaneous income. And at the bottom, it shows the transfers that we've done from the Meeting House Fund. Okay. Then on page 10, you'll see the income versus the expenses, a 6-year history. Looking like. And then pages 11 and 12, Kevin also likes graphs. And so he's done graphs of a 12-year history of expenses versus income, and the other one is income versus expenses. So, any questions on the budget presentation or on the proposed budget to me or anybody on the Finance Committee? We work real hard to be good stewards of the money that's entrusted to us. The committee works well together. We have on the committee is the treasurer, the assistant treasurer, the financial secretary, the assistant financial secretary, and a representative from the Board of Christian Education, the Board of Trustees, the Diaconate Board. Pastor Lee sits on it, and oftentimes Dave Ford as lay moderator will come to our meetings. They're not voting members, but they attend and are good with adding to our conversations. Mary?
One of the things we did this year, we started to work on the budget in November.
Yeah.
Normally, we have waited until December and January, so this time we started early. It gave us a lot of time to really look at the budget, and sometimes there's last-minute decisions like Pastor Lee's health insurance. He may not know that in December. He may not know that until the middle of December, and then we really rush around, and it gives us an opportunity to really look at what our numbers are and making sure that we have a good budget to present.
Yeah. I had one more comment then, too. Go ahead.
I just wanted to take a minute and comment on little ways that we can help the church budget. I remember the first time I ever saw a Penn State football game on TV, and there were like over 100,000 people there. And I said to Dave, wow, I'd like to have a penny from everybody at that game. Because that penny multiplied by that number of people would really be a lot of money. And there are two ways that we can help the church simply. Number one is direct deposit. It's because a lot of us go away maybe a couple times a year, and Dave and I were guilty of this for years. We'd go to New Jersey for the weekend, we'd come back the following week, we'd put whatever we would normally put in an envelope in our envelope. And the other envelope, there would be hanging in the box at the end of the year. By doing direct deposit, whether you're here or not, and you can put it in part of your monthly budget. So, for example, that's what I do. When Social Security comes in, I'm like, well, this comes out once a month and goes to the church. And then you don't have to really think about it. You're being supportive, you're helping the church, but it doesn't weigh on you because you know, once again, it's in your budget and you don't have to remember it even if you're not here. The second thing, and I used to really talk about this a lot when I worked at Giant, which I no longer do, but the church has Giant gift cards and Weiss gift cards. We all go shopping. We all put gas in our car, no matter where you shop, Giant or Weiss. Even if you would get one $50 gift card a month or a $100 gift card a month, it doesn't matter. Figure out, get some idea what your monthly budget is. Because for every dollar that you spend, the church is making 5 cents, right? Is it still 5%? Why
Yes.
are you laughing? It's still 5%, okay? So, okay, you spend $100 at Giant, it's $5 to the church. And then all you have to do is bring a check when you come to church on Sunday, write it out to First English Baptist Church, go see Mary, keep her really busy, then she'll have to keep reordering gift cards, and she'll be like, oh, that's Char. But it's a way to help the church. And no, it's not 1 cent times, 100,000 people, but if it's 5% times everybody in this congregation for what we all spend on food or gas, it comes to a good number. It adds up. And then, as you saw on the income, the income was very small because a lot of us stopped taking advantage of it when COVID came along and everybody's lifestyle changed. It all changed. But if we would get back to that now and start using those gift cards, I know you're going to lose your 1% on your Discover card or whatever you normally pay for your groceries with. I realize that. But that 5% times all these people in a year would really do a lot for the budget. So that was my personal testimony.
Any other questions? I just had one more thing I wanted to draw your attention to. If you go back into the annual report and the report prior to the proposed budget, which is the income and expense budget versus actual, if you go to the first page of that, it's our income. It looks like this. It's not, it's...
Page 2.
No, it says page 1 at the bottom, but it's...
Page 1. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
It's the income side of
Oh,
it.
yeah, yeah.
Okay, everybody got it? Okay. I wanted to show you that the items that have a zero balance at the end of the column there, 4 of them are the annual offerings that we support through the American Baptist Churches, America for Christ, One Great Hour of Sharing, Retired Ministers and Missionaries offering, and then World Mission offering. I want to point out the designated income on that page. It's $15,082, and that has a zero balance because that money came in and it went back out again. And basically, when you support the diaconate board offering on a Sunday morning, it comes in through the church treasury, and then at the end of the month, a check is written out to them. So part of that money was part of that $15,000, and also the audio video donations that have come in came in, and at the end of the month, it goes back out and goes into the Meeting House Fund. So that's where that $15,000 was. The prayer breakfast contributions, that's money that comes from the people that attend prayer breakfast, and it goes out once or twice a year to 2 missionary families within the American Baptist churches. Okay, any other questions before we vote on this?
Oh, just how do those gift cards work? I don't know. I get something from Mary, or?
Yeah, you can purchase them through the church. Mary has them. They're in a locked office over in Pastor Lee's office there. When you get to the grocery store where you see the pin pad, where you typically would stick your credit card in, you just slide down the gift card on the side, and it gets deducted then from your total.
Okay.
The church buys them at a discount because it's a church. And then when you purchase at the face value. So the difference is what the church keeps, but you have the face value of the card, just like if someone had given to you as a gift card. But now you're going to use it to pay for your groceries or your gasoline. Or you can give it to someone, I suppose, and they can do it. But isn't that where the money comes from? The cards are discounted, purchased at a discount by the church because we're a church, and they know that. And then as people in the church buy the card, they pay the face value. So there's a 5% difference that the church keeps. And that's what.
Taken out at the store.
No, it doesn't. No.
No, it doesn't cost you
No.
anything. The face value of the card that you hold in your hand is the exact amount that it's worth.
You paid $50, or let's say you paid for a $100 gift card, and then you use it, buy $100 worth of groceries or gas. The church bought that card for $95, but received $100 from you when you purchased the card. Is that right?
Mm-hmm.
And so the $5 difference is what the church gains from that transaction. But when you go to the store, it's the same $100 as it would be if you wrote the check or paid with a credit card.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Okay, I guess we're done.
Yep. Okay. No more questions? Okay. So I'm going to call for a motion to receive the 2024 proposed budget as outlined in our annual report. Is there such a motion from Russell? Russell has the motion, and there's a second from Doris and from Philip. Is there further discussion about any part of this before there's a vote? Can we just do a voice vote for this? Can I ask all in favor of the budget as proposed to say aye? Aye. And opposed? Thank you very much. Very good. Unanimous endorsement. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Okay, next. Any other comments, questions that you want to pose to me or to anyone here about last year, this year? What kind of ice cream is going to be at the social? If Gordon doesn't eat it all before. Gordon had a special birthday, and he purchased a good amount of ice cream for his birthday party. Am I right? It's almost gone. Oh, gee. So at least a few weeks ago, there was enough for a church social. And now we might have to add to the. Anyway, we're hoping to have something again with Beth Israel, and yeah. Okay, all right. Do I have a motion to adjourn? Mary, Dave second. All in favor? Aye. Okay, thank you very much. Have a good afternoon.